It's like a machine, this guy.
Yeah, so we deserve the
We live, Idan. music? Okay. I told him to put some funny music, if we don't hear it. Okay, Nico, welcome to the podcast lab. Salute. Good to see you. I'm really excited about having you here. I told you about it, that I want to talk to you for, actually, since I came here. So it's 6 years ago. I wanted to meet the person behind the boards, because every time I pass by Pescadores and I come into the shop, grab a little coffee, chat with the boys. There is a specific one which I'm always looking. It's like a purple speed egg with crazy painting.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I've been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, I really love that one, and I'm always coming. Hey, maybe I should treat myself or something. And in the end, I ended up buying the Revolution. But I always wanted to meet the person behind the boards and to know your story. And I pretty much, I'm pretty sure that you have, a great perspective about Ericeira, about surfing here, about longboarding, about boards, about surf history, all those kind of stuff. So welcome.
So thank you for having me here. I'm super happy to be here, sitting and chatting with you.
Again, great.
And sharing a coffee.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the coffee, man.
Fantastic. So I have a question for you. Your first board, you remember?
Yeah, definitely. So my first board, I shaped it with a friend. Rabbit is also one of the influent guys in the Portuguese surf industry. He shared the org surfboards with Edu, and it was 1988, and I had decided I wanted to build myself a surfboard. We're from the same beach, São João da Caparica, Contiki bar, and he had built a few boards before. He knew how to build surfboards, and hey, dude, you have to teach me building surfboards. So I had some money, I bought some materials, I had the garage, I had the power planner, and a few nights he came to my place and I showed me, so this is how you shape and build yourself a surfboard. And I never stopped since.
So it's like, this is your first board you shaped, but the first board you rode?
Oh, the first board I rode was from Nick.
Cement?
From Nick Cement. Before Cement was Lipstick.
Okay.
I think was Nick, Miguel Kazenstein, and Caldish, and Nuno Parrinha's father too.
Okay.
I think was involved in the graphics and it was in Costa de Caparica.
Oh wow! So they were in Costa de Caparica before?
Yeah, way before the cement established in Ericeira. So I had a single fin classic teardrop. I think probably a 6'8", something like that.
Wow! So you had this style early then, or was it like the normal style back then?
You would catch what the style. Let me tell you about the style. The style was like 3 friends or 4 friends sharing a board, no wetsuits, and each one trying to catch a wave in 5 minutes, going back frozen, and the next one would go out.
What year was that?
1986.
Wow, 1986. And this was in Caparica.
São João da Caparica.
And is it, because I heard Nick was one of the like really pioneers in bringing, like making surfing a thing here in
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Nick was. I'm sure there would be other and for there's some guy, I don't know if he's Danish or Sweden, that came to Ericeira a long time ago, and people says that he was the first shaper in Ericeira, or first guy shaping a board in Ericeira.
Mhm.
I don't know the story quite well, but for sure, Nick came in the time there was basically nothing. I think the first time he came was before 82 or around 82. And he flew from California to France. Well, you have to invite him for a chat and ask him that. But the idea I have,
Yeah, he's on my list. But
definitely, you
yeah,
have to. But
he's Miguel Katzenstein's son was here.
Oh, yeah?
Lorenzo
Yeah.
was here. I think even twice.
good surfer.
Yeah, wow, he's wild. This guy,
He's wild too.
he's wild.
So he came in around 82. He flew from California to England. He grabbed the car and drove down the coast to check the waves. And there was no surfboards. And he drove back to Biarritz. He got some boards and he came back to Portugal
From Biarritz.
from Biarritz. I think this is the story.
And before then, wasn't
Before that, there was, I don't know if there was like, who would be building surfboards before cement? I don't know. There was,
I mean, it's amazing.
in
because-
in the 80s, there's a big explosion of surfboard builders. Like Diego Appleton's father was building the Alvas.
Mhm.
Takeoff in Caparica. The already disappeared Philippe Bibi, I think was Takeoff team. Paul Francis, New Power, Impact, Carcavelos Surf, Picos had tropical lines or tubular lines or something like that. In the 80s, everything exploded and there was a lot of boards being, and Caparica was pretty much
the center.
the center of the surfing universe. And of course, I have to also name some guys in the north, Emilio Pinto and
We were from Porto,
from
Motozinios.
Porto, yeah, the crew from the north. But as you can imagine, Portugal was very centralized in Lisbon back then, and
Yeah.
it was
Easier
a
to get
very
to Caparica as well.
We all from the suburbs and outside Caparica, from Lisbon. But Caparica was, well, it was the Linha do Estoril also happening.
Mm.
But for us from Lisbon and suburbs, was really easy to go to Caparica, because the people I started surfing with in Contiki, there was the ones before the older guys, but the people my age that started surfing same time. There was people from Alcântara, Calvário, Chelas, Madre Deus neighborhood, Amadora, from many places that converged to that place.
Mm.
In São João.
In São João, you mean?
So I say São João because there has to be a separation here. Caparica is where the wall starts.
Yeah.
São João is another thing. So
Down south.
down closer to the river.
Okay, so close. So São João. Just I want to get my understand. So Caparica is where those.
Yeah, the jetties.
Yeah.
So that's Caparica. We before the jetties. So this is in a funny way.
Inside the river?
No, not inside. It's on the same coast, on the same line. But
just down south.
This is in a funny way to make a separation that we're not from Caparica. We're from São João. Caparica starts where the jetty starts.
Yeah, I understand.
So we were not locals from Caparica. We were locals from São João.
Okay.
There's a big separation.
No, I understand. My
and by the time I wouldn't say segregated, but very separate. Like San João was San João, the CDS were CDS, and the guys from CDS and Marcelino were like two beaches very close. So pretty much same. But then we would Bento and Praia Nova, and
Yeah.
so there was different locals and
Yeah. No,
pockets of surfers.
I get that because I was working with my construction guy, and he is from Fontboa de Schnabo, and from Lapa de Serra.
Okay.
And I try to ask him in Portuguese. So how was Ericeira back? I don't know, in the 70s, a long time ago, just like regular questions, not about the surf. And he was like, yeah, it's okay, this. And I was like, why, you didn't, but you're from here. He was like, didn't give me like a lot of answers. And he was like, no, I'm not from Ericeira. I'm from Lapa de Serra. It's you understand?
It's just a few miles inland.
But for him,
a couple of miles inland.
It makes a world difference, it's a different and then I started to research and understand there is the whole Saloyos, which is
Saloyos and Jagos.
Yeah, which is like the people from the
farms, and Jagos, those people from the ocean.
Yeah, I got to understand that, and I understand there was a guy here from Nazaré that now he lives here, and he told me that also Miguel Padrera was here, and they told me about the whole Nazaré Peniche fishing community, that they are very connected to each other, but Peniche and Ericeira are separate fishing communities.
Well,
if I understood it correctly.
I don't know how separate, because the idea I have, and this is just you and me chatting, I believe that the fishermen from Peniche came to grab the ladies, Saloyos, from the farms, and they
so the fishermen
got married, and that's where I think the Jagos fisherman has some Peniche ancestry in the blood, I think.
From here.
Okay,
so there is connection.
There is connection, I think.
There is, and
very ancient connection.
And this is like a special thing, Jagos. Like, I don't know if special, but it's like, the true fisherman of the town.
Oh man, this is as you can imagine,
100 years ago or something.
I've seen there was a rescue in the behind the jetty by the local fishermen. There was someone struggling with on rough seas, and
with the boat.
Yeah, with one of the fishing boats, the new fishing boats, and it made me so proud of these fishermen. That no one stays alone in the sea. They went out and they rescued the person. So these are brave people.
Yeah,
there's a lot of most of them. They had to go working out in the big cruise ships. They had to. It's funny. I have a friend. His Jagos. His whole family comes from here. He comes from the fisherman's neighborhood, and he said, "Dude, we got sick of eating lobster in winter." Because that's the only thing they had for eating. That's what they would get from the fishing boats. It's a funny story when you go out for a nice fancy lobster dinner. The locals would get sick of eating lobster during the winter because that was the only thing available they had. So this is brave and rough people, rough in the very complimentary way.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, no, it's I understand a little bit fisherman's mentality, not I one of my best friend is his father is a fisherman, and my friend wasn't a really sea person, an ocean person. In Israel, it's a sea, it's a Mediterranean Sea, it's a completely different environment. But I grew up, I loved the sea, the beach, and I wanted, and he always was looking for someone to bring him over to the boat and catch fish with. So I was spending nights with him on the boat, throwing nets and everything. And it's a whole,
It's beautiful.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's a whole surviving mentality, using what you have, improvising, reading everything, knowing where the rocks 200 meters below is the little reef is, and you can put something there and you call the fish, and the expectation of what will come up from the ocean.
And some people like, Papu from Activity Center. Papu's family or Gigi's from Vista. Those guys, it is set a royalty.
Yeah, okay.
Those family, they from here for so long, so many years back. So I consider those guys the true. It is said as a royalty.
Yeah, and I would love to get them here if they would be interested in coming.
Oh, for sure. Those are the real Jagosh, and those are the right people to talk.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious about the history of the place and about the history of everything here, because it's just fascinating, this little town with so much possibilities of surfing and fishing and culture, but it's also a bit like outside and
just 25 minutes from Lisbon.
Yeah, but also like the culturally, like a bit like, because it wasn't connected with the highway. People needed to go around Sintra and drive here, and it was like a bit of a journey to come up here.
Yeah, it is said it has this attraction. It's a very interesting place. It's for some reason it attracted so many of us throughout the years.
So back to my question. So your first board was lipstick, cement.
Oh yeah, it was a lipstick.
Cement. That's amazing.
Single fin, brown. That made me look like a cook.
Yeah,
and I was a cook. Yeah. But and very, very, very fast, I had to have a modern board, which was my biggest mistake.
Okay. Yeah. I can identify with that. This is. I have a question for you. Another one. When did you started to identify as a longboarder? Do you understand?
That was a few years after. So I'm very influenced by Luffy. We're from the same beach. We're from the Kontiki. It's funny. I've started shaping boards probably 3 years after Luffy. The owner of the Kontiki used to make a surf contest for the locals. You have no idea the amount of locals in São João. We were a lot of people. So the Lito, he was from Cascais, but he had the bar, and every September, the end of the season, he used to make a contest for us. And that year, there was a guy that sat a few yards away from us, and we were like, "What the heck is that guy?" "I don't know. I think he's a shaper from Peniche." And he had some really weird, dirty, really messy boards, and we're like, and that was Luffy. It was the beginning of everything, and he ended up staying, and he stayed, and he built his community, and one time he shaped a longboard for his wife, and I was like, wow. It was the first longboard I saw. I want to have one of those. And that's when I first got in touch with longboards. Of course, it changed a lot. The 90s longboards had nothing to do with the longboards we're riding today. The 90s and the early 2000s. High performance. You're like doing like tight rundhouses, upside down, and like high performance style. To now we're more on the
Retro.
classic, traditional,
Yeah.
modern longboard.
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you and do you surf when you started surfing longboards? Did you had like some sort of not a regret, but kind of like a notion like how many waves I missed? You know what I'm saying?
Because I always had a lot of boards, and I was riding thrusters and longboards, and even when I started Wavegliders, all my models were developed by me, and the idea was riding everything from a 5.3 mini Siemens to a 9.8 longboard or 10.6.11 glider. You know what I'm saying? The idea was to understand wave vehicles and not just being attached to one type of board.
Okay.
I rode high performance thrusters until 2000 and probably 2005.
Oh wow! So
but with
some diversity,
with longboards, with high performance longboards, and my first classic longboards, and so I'm a surfboard shaper, so there was always a lot of boards available.
I understand, because I had a period, and I'm just gonna tell that little story, and then I'm gonna go back. I had a period when I lived in Australia, and I was just purchased this 6.4, and I was living in Byron. It has this big right-hander, not big in terms of size, but long. It's called the Pass. It's a really perfect.
Byron Bay is a big community.
Yeah, in longboarding and everything, and I was there for a couple of years, and I was riding a high performance 6.4. For me, 6.4 is like
very short board.
Yeah, and maybe in the end of my stay there, I started like getting a longboard from a friend of mine, and I was like, I should have been using that the whole couple of years, because I was just messing around, paddling, getting nowhere, and
but that's the reality.
Yeah.
A lot of people fights against I wouldn't just say longboards, but all sorts of alternative, let's call it alternative surfboards, even a shortboard. And for instance, when most people gets really engaged when they try a midland, a nice midland, or even a longboard. They're like, whoa, this is fun. I catch a lot of waves. I catch waves deeper or further back. When the shortboarders start paddling, I'm already standing up on the wave. So it's more that than what you said before, that I regret riding longboards because all the waves I lost, but more when you discover the joy of other boards, you think for yourself, oh, this is fun. This is like I wish I had discovered this longer ago.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened to me.
Like misconceptions, like the classic San Diego fish. Most people, that's a board for small waves. It's not. It's a
What
board,
is the classic San Diego
like
fish?
the wide kills, wide tail, the traditional.
Almost like a knee board.
Yeah, it started to be a new board.
Okay.
The Steve Lee's fish. That board is for small waves, and they're not. They for good solid overhead waves where you get all that side of the board creating momentum of bottom turns and connecting to the high lines and flying. That's when you realize, oh, this is not a small wave board. This is a really fast board. So there was a movement that started late 90s that almost like a Pandora box that was open with the blueprints for the present days, where a lot of designs and concepts was shown to us, like, and here's all these for you to
play with,
enjoy riding waves.
Yeah.
And it was a world that got open in front of our eyes. We're like, wow, we had the thrusters and the fun boards and the long boards all created by the image of a high performance boards, and now we have all this for us to give it a
go.
Yeah, our own
and
interpretation.
I told you before, I had lunch today with Miguel Padreira.
Oh yeah,
and the
great Miguel Padreira, the
one and only
walking encyclopedia.
Yeah,
there's three: Miguel, João Valente, and Nuno Jonet.
Okay.
Miguel, you ask Jonet. I've made this game with him many times. You ask Miguel, hey, who was the final, or what was the final in Osegor in 1994?
He knows, huh?
He knows. He's going to tell you. I don't know, Nico Wavegliders, this guy, that guy, and that other guy. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. He's a walking encyclopedia.
Yeah,
he's a journalist and a walking encyclopedia.
No, he's amazing. And he told me, you have to ask Nico about the names, how he came up with the name of the models, like what behind each name, like Smooth Operator, for example, or
that's a question that, or that's a name that pissed out a lot of people. Yeah, because a friend, Robbie Kegel, also has a Smooth Operator for like over 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I named Smooth Operator to one of my boards. Back then I wasn't following that much Robbie's work, and Smooth Operator was a name given like I would say 12, 13 years ago.
We have a message from João Diogo. Star model in Linda Vela.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you
Star
mean?
Model was like the high end, the best, like the board that they were like pretty ahead of their times.
Really?
They were EPS and epoxy resin. They were built by Philip from is one of the greatest, the biggest resins and composite distributors at today. Philippe, I don't know his name, but the boards, the Star Models, they were like a work of art.
Okay,
shining, beautiful. It wasn't a board for everyone. It was like a really high-hand board.
Okay, that's awesome. Is it João Diogo from the shop?
No,
it's a different João. Maybe you can get the camera on me, and I will just tell everyone that if someone has a question for the one and only Nico, it's actually you can participate and ask some questions. He will be here to answer your questions, not all of your questions, but some of your questions. Okay. I'm sure he will be interested to, he'll be happy to answer regarding surf history, shaping boards. So yeah, we are here. It's interactive. So feel free to join the conversation and ask. Jonas. Yeah, thank you, João Diogo, for...
I know that name. I know that João. I don't know. But João, if you're there, just... told me something. Was I know that name.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's cool. So Smooth Operator, you were saying.
So Smooth Operator was I remember it was 2012 maybe, and I've made a board. And sometimes it's easy to name a board. It's very spontaneous, natural, and sometimes it's hard. And I presented the board and I challenged my friends to, hey, help me giving this board a name. And a friend of mine, Leonard Lance, is a Dutch guy that lives in. It was back then the culture was like a very underground culture, and he had a heck ton of boards, really nice boards. And Leonard was one of my clients, and he proposed, oh, let's call it Smooth Operator.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never much into Sade and the song Smooth Operator, so nah. And but when I've designed the Smooth Operator, it came from my experience with nose riders and pigs.
Oh, pigs! I heard. I never tried that one before.
So pigs, they
Can you explain everyone what's a pig? Because I want to get my head, because I remember someone showed it to me and I was really impressed. It's like it must have a pintail.
No. The pigs, they have the white spot moved back, a wide hip, and the nose pulled in.
Okay.
Like your Revolution,
Okay.
but a longboard.
Okay.
So your Revolution is a transition period board. That's a board that's transition period. So between the longboard era and the shortboard revolution. So it's something that comes from between 67 and 69.
Okay.
It's a Wayne Lynch kind of the era.
And the
board.
bottom of it, what's so special? Because it has
on the pig, on the Revolution.
On the Revolution.
So the Revolution is a rolled V, rolled bottom to V with down rails, and so down rails on the tail, because there are up rails to 50-50 to down rails with edge that creates a lot of. So it's an old mama that was given a natural progression.
Okay.
So that's a transition period board that we gave it a chance to come to the present days.
Okay.
So what's a pig? Like I said, the nose pulled in, white spot moves back, and the big hip with a big deep fin. I love riding pigs.
I think I can actually share. Let's see if I can do that. I wanna share.
Okay. Do you think I'm gonna keep?
No, I want to share. Yeah, I wanted to share a photo of a pig here, pig surfboard, but I don't know how to do it. Let's do it like this.
So just put like Dale Velzy pig.
Okay, share.
Dale Velzy with Y.
Window. Pig. Finder. Okay. Unable to share. No, something here is not working. Okay. Never mind.
Let's people do their homework.
Exactly.
Okay. If you want to make some research. Dale Velzy was the creator, the guy that Imagine is an upside down design. Everybody in plan of joke said that Velzy glassed the fin on the nose of the board.
Okay.
Because if you turn it upside down, it's like, well, it makes sense. And if you flip it, it's like almost a stretched egg. And the name pig comes from, if you see a pig from the back in perspective, the big booty, the narrow head.
Okay.
That's the idea you get from a pig. So they turn on a dime, and they have that big D fin that keeps the board on the sweet spot, on the curl of the wave. And that's the board of all the cool cats back in the 60s. They were riding pig or piggish style board. The Nose Riders is a board that was at least designed on the Joe Quigg's notebook in 47 seven, I think, and it became popular in the 60s when nose riding a wave was the way to get highly scored. So the longer you could go from point A to point B standing on the nose of the board. So that's when nose riders became popular. But they're not good for turning. They're good for nose riding and standing on the nose, but not good for turning. While pigs requires you to be very refined. They're not friendly. They nose rideable, but not friendly. But they turn on a dime. So they're very functional on the tail. So the smooth operator comes from my experience with nose riders being very slow, turning almost like a fishing boat, like a and pigs being super fast. So the mix or the crossing of those two boards created a smooth operator. So there you go, the name.
Okay.
It's a smooth operator.
Got it.
So it's almost like it's a nose rider with features of a pig.
Okay.
The nose is not as wide as a classic Californian pig, but wide enough to be friendly.
They make the pig with wide noses? Because
as long as you keep the white spot like 6 inches back from the center and with a wide hip, it's considered piggish. You look at the board and so let's say.
By the way, João Diogo Retão do São João. I'm gonna.
Retão do São João. Hey, brother.
I'm going to.
There you go. São João de Caparica.
Yeah. He's interacting with us. Super cool, actually. Retão do São João. Yeah. Maybe he's a local from Caparica. Huh?
Yeah. São João. There you go. That's what we were talking in the beginning. There's one of the homies from.
All right.
From the first days.
Okay. That's incredible, actually.
So smooth operator is like easy, and it takes you to another definition. It's evolvement. So the Australian pigs or the Australian boards.
It's surf history, man. Here.
Let me see. That was 14 surfava com Zé Gordo. Yes, Zé Gordo is another well-known name from Caparica.
From São João, maybe. Cool. Yeah.
We were 14. We were like, I was probably 88. I was, 15, 16, maybe.
Surfing alone, even in Caparica.
Well, not alone because we were a
big crew.
We're a big group, and surfing. You have to understand that surfing was surfers were like the outcasts. Of the society. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything besides surfing. I want to spend time at the beach doing nothing. Surfing, rolling joints, and just enjoying staying at the beach. We would spend like a full summer with a pair of shorts and stealing food from friends because you can imagine it was. So every friend that freshly arrived to the beach, first thing we would do was check his backpack for food because we were starving.
That's but this is classic, this is true classic.
We were laid down at the beach. It was like, even in winter, who cares about the beach in the winters? Nobody cares. There was a place where it could be away from everything in it's not like today. Today is it became mainstream. Beach is it's a playground for everybody. Surfing became official, became clean, sanitized.
And
available for everyone. Back then was like an act of rebellion
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So tell me a little bit about Wavegliders, how it started.
So Wavegliders starts in 2009. I was working for a Portuguese surfboard company for 10 years, and it came to the moment I had to leave and starting my own thing, giving expression to the boards. I wanted to ride, I wanted to build, and I did it. I left, and 1 week after, I was building Wavegliders, surfboards. What would you like to ask?
But
me?
you start first the shape house or the shop. What came first? Actually,
So-
just before you answer, we're gonna make a little break.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a little break for a little sponsorship message. Gonna be a minute, and then we will be back. Okay. This live stream is brought to you by the Podcast Lab, a state-of-the-art studio helping content creators take their craft to the next level. At the Podcast Lab, we offer
We're just on a break now
instant
for
raw edits, expert audio-visual support,
good,
professional
good.
three-angle camera
Yeah,
system,
thank you.
acoustically treated space for up
Thanks,
to
Ilan.
4 guests. One of our most popular offering is the 4-play package. A cost-effective subscription that lets you record up to 4 podcast sessions in our studio. It's perfect for creators who want consistent, high-quality content without breaking the bank.
There
And
is
here's the best
I don't know
part.
if it's real.
For
Here
our
it's
live
2,
viewers
but over
today,
here
you can get 25% off
there
the
are
4-play package using
3,
the exclusive
and
coupon
here
code
there is 1.
Live
So I think it's
2025.
more than that.
But
There's
hurry,
like 4 or
this
5.
special offer is only valid until midnight.
But there was a
tonight.
period where there was like
Simply
7.
scan the QR code
Come
that
on,
appears
people.
during this stream.
It's not a lot.
Or
But
take a screenshot to scan it later.
those things are,
Don't worry, you will see it pop up
are,
again throughout the
yeah,
show.
no, you need to
Now let's go back
build
to the
them.
podcast.
You know, you need to like, you know what I'm saying? It needs to be like
Keep them
going and people regular and that's like that. Yeah. So here you go, and we are back after the sponsorship. So yeah, as I said in the sponsorship, if you guys want to take part and join the podcast lab, and this is the QR code, and you are welcome to just take a snapshot, scan it, and we will pop it up in and out while we talk, and you can utilize the coupon code. Okie dokie. Now, okay. So, what came before, the shape house or the
shape house?
The shape house.
So I had a little workshop at the house. I started Wavegliders. Couple of months, I had a bigger warehouse, and 2012, I was invited to come to this place and share the facilities and the overheads with Luke's. It's another local shaper.
Luke? The
Luke
South
Butt.
African guy?
The South African.
I really wanted to get him here as
You
well.
should. Is a very funny person. He has good stories.
And also he's animal. He goes in big waves, this
He
guy.
surfs really, really good. He's a great surfer, shaper. That
I've seen him battling. I had a coffee in Gota d'Alcohol in São Julião.
Yeah.
One morning, it was no one out, 2.5 meter. It was sunny, you know, summer swell, but big summer swell. And I didn't know it was him, but he was battling.
He's a really good surfer. I have a cool story from Luke.
Oh, so he's here for a long time, huh? As well.
Luke's here for, I would say almost 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, kind of 20 years. Then he brought his father. Cyril was Puka's production manager, and he was partners with Graham Smith and Peter Daniels. And some point of his life, he was the South African national coach, and Luke was on the probably juvenile team together with Twiggy.
Okay. Well, you know which part of South Africa that he's from?
They're from,
Durban, or
I think, Durban.
it's a good spot. I was there. It's really good spot over there.
So funny story with Luke is that he used to compete, and his father was crazy. He
Mm.
was so intense, and if Luke loses one of his eats, he would have to paddle around the beach. And a funny story that one time he called his mom, asking, "Can I go home?" Yeah, and mom said, "You better not come home now because dad is pissed." Cyril was intense, but I had the pleasure of working with Cyril for a few years, and so he invited me to share the factory. It made no sense, both of us having factories and overheads. So, and his factory was a big place, big enough for both of us. So he invited me to join and share the overheads, and each one running their independent businesses. And Cyril decided to retire, and I ended up keeping the factory with another guy from job site. So we have two businesses, independent businesses running under the same ceiling for 10 years now.
Cool. And then the shop.
And then the shop came in 2018. It was a necessity. It was like a natural progression
of the place, of the town as well.
And that too.
Because it's like a hub, a culture hub, you know, for clothing, style, boards. It's really a nice little corner.
It's a place that it's a work in progress. It's about building community and sharing culture. At least we're trying.
No, it's going good.
And well, it's not done, but still a work in progress.
Can I ask you another question? How do you feel the longboarding culture in Ericeira? Because on one hand, it's such a gnarly place to surf. It's heavy. It's reef. It's not a longboarding. I mean,
Ericeira in the winter is rough.
Yeah,
it is rough, but it has plenty of good surfing days between and even in winter the ocean is not big all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So as your question, the longboarding culture is growing, not as much as not by the Portuguese, but more by the people coming to Ericeira. I started seeing that, like, there was like, we were a few. There was a collective before the shop. There was another shop, Magic River, that was opened by a friend of mine. Well, it was Rui Ribeiro. He was my salesman when we started Wavegliders, and he was the person that made Wavegliders for the world to be distributed to the world. And when he started bringing shapers from California and Australia to our factory, Rui was my salesman, and then I helped Rui opening his shop, Magic River, and that was like the center of the culture, Wavegliders and Magic River.
Yeah, Magic River. They had one shop, which was a beautiful little spot over. It was in a different place, and now they changed it, and it became
the original Magic River was near where my shop is on the
and now it's more
on the corner,
towards,
and now it's but from
next to Caixas das
it was
Caixas.
bought by Mario. really cool guy, German expat. But the original Magic River was
By Rui Ribeiro.
by Rui Ribeiro was
Really?
totally different. Was the center of the culture. Rui was, unfortunately, this was 2012. He was ahead of his time for
Mm.
87, and he made something the same level as the most influent surf shop boutiques at the time,
Yeah.
and some that already disappeared, like Muscaria in the Basque Country, and Mollusk, and Saturdays, and Pilgrim. Magic River Shop was one of the references of the culture. Do you want to help me here? 'Cause I'm pretty
No, it's
lost.
okay. Yeah, I'm also lost. I'm kind of like thinking about Magic Quiver and everything.
Yeah.
So we talked about Rui Ribeiro, Magic Quiver. How did you end up opening the shop above
So
Pescadores?
was a need, was something that I had to do. I had to have my own shop, my own identity. Working with Magic Quiver for all that time was good. Now it was time for me to
Have your own signature.
give my own signature.
And where can people find your board? Is it worldwide?
Not anymore, but for a long period of time, you could find Wavegliders in the most influential shops in Europe. Switch, VAG, Good Times, 654, ET Clothing. There was a shop in Switzerland, in Zurich. Was one of the first shops I worked with. Now you can find Wavegliders at the Wavegliders shop or the factory.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Porto, as a good friend of mine and a big supporter of Wavegliders, and is the only person or the only shop that I allow selling Wavegliders besides our shop.
And I have another question. I have this friend. He's an engineer. He comes here very, very often. He comes from Israel, and we always stop at the shop. And he always has this debate. And he's
Engineers it up.
Yeah, I know. This is exactly where it's going, because he is saying, he's always bringing up the machine, the CN.
All right.
He's always like, he thinks that, and I'm actually asking this question for him, because he thinks that a machine, it's like a surfboard is like airplane. It needs to be created by machines to get the exact specifications, the exact.
But by what? AI or
No,
by people?
No.
Because people programs the machines.
No, he talks about the human programming, but the machine, the actual machine, versus someone that hand shaped the whole thing.
Okay, let's get in that.
How do you
willing for you to ask that question.
So how do you debate this?
So it's not complicated, but elaborated. So the CNC machine is vital when you refine a board or develop a board based on your experience, your knowledge, your team riders. When you achieve that refinement you want, when you're happy with that refinement, okay, this is the board I want, and now I want to mass produce this board,
replicate
in a very consistent way.
Yeah.
So everybody deserves to have the same 9.6, 9.4, all the same, in a very consistent way. And that takes us to hand shaping. So the question would be like hand shaping versus machine shaping. Or I'm directing it to that path. Hand shaping is vital for the creative process of a product. You make mistakes, and the today's mistake that you go home pissed, putting in question all your knowledge and skills. The next day you come and you look at that and you realize that you opened a new door.
Mm.
And hand shaping is vital for the creative process. Otherwise, in the engineering way, as engineers are, they're very pragmatic. You'll be just reproducing the same efficient board all the time.
This is a very interesting way to think about it. I understand. So, in order to develop the
In order to
industry
develop.
and in order to come up with new ideas, you need to touch the material. You need to.
But sometimes when you imagine you
Mhm.
asking me, Nico, I want something special. I have these ideas. We go together to the shaping room and we start putting templates and tracing lines and overlapping lines. And then I think we have it. And then we finish shaping it and we have a new door that opened.
Yeah.
And that's the creative process. Like I said, there's nothing. And when you have like myself, and I only can speak by myself, 35 years of hand shaping boards, around 18,000 boards hand shaped, you achieve. And I also have marketed models. You achieve a level that you able to replicate models with a big similarity. Of course, it's handmade, but after 35 years hand shaping boards, it's naturally easy for me to replicate
Mhm.
a model over and over and over. Probably the machine will be more accurate or faster. So I'm not here defending hand shaping or saying that the CNC
Using the
machine is
wrong.
bad.
Yeah.
It's a tool. Both ways. One is vital for the creative process, and two, support culture and legacy.
Mhm.
And the other is the CNC machine, and a very efficient tool to produce
Mass production.
in a very consistent way.
Mhm.
And this is very important to tell the
My-
people that listening to us. The day hand shaping disappears, culture will disappear,
Mm.
because the traditional shapers are kind of I don't like saying the gatekeepers or the guardians of a culture, but yeah, in order to I have to have a great understanding of the past in order to develop my future, or to give foundation to the next thing I want to create,
Mhm.
or to grab an old board from back in the days and give it a natural progression. Um, it's true. A lot of young shapers today, they never hold a planner, and they can't shape a board to save their lives with of a planner. And I'm not saying they less shapers, but I'm saying the day that the shaper can't hold the planner for shaping a surfboard, the surfboard and surf culture is dead.
Hmm. This is a big statement.
It is.
No, but it makes sense. It makes sense. It couldn't
Because
be.
it becomes very sanitized. Uh, if you see most CNC boards, they're the same for years. The high performance, if you put like different brands, Lost, CI, GNS, and they're all the same.
Mm.
There's no, if you take the logo out, there's no, I wouldn't say, probably yes, but very little identity. They're all the same. When you have two surfers riding Slater's wave pool, and you get the judges scoring and splitting the screen and scoring or evaluating this, each surfer by the who hit the lip harder and shorter ratio turn, and it's like all those boards are pretty much the same and built for the same effect.
Mm-hmm.
And the day you have no longer the creativity of the traditional shapers, people that has nothing to lose to make a mistake and open other doors, surfboard building will be very sanitized, uh, like a clinic, like an hospital, very clean. Well, it's not, but you understand what I'm saying?
Of course, and actually, when you talk about it, I got inspired, and I understood that maybe as part of the imperfections. I mean, because maybe it's not 100% symmetrical when you do hand shaping. You know what I'm saying? There is like 0 point something.
That is.
Yeah, and those imperfections, because human are imperfect, and the wave are, even if it's a perfect wave, it's not always.
You're not the same as yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday you had like a big feijoada, or
Yeah.
you had beans and you're heavier, or today it's colder and your wetsuit is not a 4-3, it's a 4-3 instead of 3 mils. And the difference between, like, for instance, the difference between hot coat sanded and polish.
Yeah.
Theoretically, the water or the sand finish creates water balloons or water cells or air cells that will make the board going faster over the water. There's air cells between water
If it's
and
polished,
if it's sand finished.
So
in theory, and polished boards, they're slower.
Really, the one that are
listen, theoretically, and there was a test run by the United States Navy on hulls, boat hulls, and the one boat had a polished hull, and the other boat was a sand finished hull, and they started only getting different results over 52 miles per hour. Okay, or something like that. A surfboard doesn't go faster than 25 or 27 miles per hour. So there's things that in engineer perspective, they vary, but in the practice, in the side, it's more the experience, the try and error, than the putting the machine, making perfect copies.
Yeah, so the creative process, this is huge. Getting to actually, yeah, this is huge. I understand. Interesting.
It is.
What is your favorite from your arsenal, from your shapes? What is your, like, the one you say, this model is the. I know what I really like from yours, and I really want to get. One board I really want.
So-
No, I'm not talking about the speed egg, the purple speed. There's one specific one which I really want, but I will not tell you now. I'm going to ask you first, and then I will.
So my favorite boards for shaping are all the transitional period boards. So your Evolution, the Space Spin. There's so much hydrodynamic involved on those boards, and all shapes are curved. There's no flat spots. There's no angles. Everything is so fluid, from the S deck to the bottom contours to the rails. All lines, they start in a point and then match in some other point in a very sexy way. So Revolution and Space Spin, probably the boards that give me more satisfaction.
This is the one I wanted to say, Space Spin. For me, Space Spin, there was a one with 3 stringers, white,
sexy.
couple of months ago. It was sold. You know what I'm talking about? 3 stringers, white. This board looked like it can go everywhere. Everywhere, even like on an 8 feet, 8 feet Koshos. Not that I will go on an 8 feet Koshos, but
I was talking with my team riders, with Pedro Scansetti, a couple of days ago, and he's been flirting and having an affair with the Space Spin. I made him a 711.
Okay, so big one.
And that's the board he's been taking to bigger surf when the longboard is a super refined longboarder. I call him the Mr. Gentleman, because he surfs like a gentleman.
Where is he from?
He's a Brazilian, but he is based in Peniche.
Okay, so he surfs in Peniche.
Filmmaker. He was the director for the Butter Knife and Quem Surfou Surfou. It was also involved on that collaboration we've made with Jose Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that a couple of days he sent me an audio. It was exhilarating, like the last session he had in Prainha, how the board created momentum just when he felt that the sections were closing, but the board was generating energy and momentum and speed out of there, and he was so happy with that. And he was telling me that if I'm traveling, I'm taking the Space Spin, because I can surf small, I can surf big, I can surf in many ways, and the board always delivers.
It looks like amazing.
I have a 10.6 in Hawaii. I surfed it as small sunset, like head high overhead.
Oh, you surfed sunset?
Yeah, but not sunset, small sunset, head high, very easy. You paddle from the beach, you don't even get your air.
Yeah,
wet.
Would you compare it to São Lourenço? Miguel today told me that.
Oh yeah.
So
São Lourenço is people doesn't realize that, but São Lourenço is one of the most powerful waves in Ericeira. And when São Lourenço is big, it resembles a lot sunset.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had this discussion today with Miguel about São Lourenço. I never surfed there. But I have friends.
So let's not talk about São Lourenço, because we want to keep the locals.
Forget about it.
There's no São Lourenço.
No, not exist.
There's no said. It's a great wave. It's not. Don't go to São Lourenço.
Honestly,
locals are really bad there. The wave is crappy. Don't go to São Lourenço.
And you know what? I think even if someone would go, they would get a cleanup set on the head and they will run away.
Oh yeah.
So this is what
or in the cove and had to be pulled out by the
bombeiros or something.
By the bombeiros. By the fire department.
Yeah. Best. So I would say I have another question for you, and we will wrap with that question.
All right.
Okay? But before that question, we're gonna go for one little sponsorship break, and here we go. This live stream is brought to you by the Podcast Lab. a state-of-the-art studio helping content
a nice
creators take their
surfboard for a
craft to the next
beginning,
level.
surfer.
At the
And
Podcast
I
Lab, we
wanted
offer
to get
instant raw edits,
something about
expert
the
audio-visual
volume.
support,
Everyone is now talking
professional
about the
3-angle
volume,
camera
volume,
system,
volume, volume,
acoustically
and
treated
I
space for
assume
up to 4
that it's not always what people
One of our
need
most
to look
popular
at. You know what I'm
offering
saying?
is the 4-play
Like a
package,
sort of like
a cost-effective subscription that lets you record up to
a
4
little
podcast
guide for
sessions
someone that's
in our
starting
studio.
out.
It's perfect for
what should you look
creators
for.
who want
Right.
consistent,
Easy.
high-quality content
I know.
without
I'm
breaking the
creating
bank.
a new
And
line.
here's the best part. For our live
a
viewers today,
machine
you can
made
get
line
25%
for the
off
beginners,
the
for the people
4-play
that
package using the
doesn't want to spend
exclusive coupon
all
code
that money.
LIVE2025. But hurry,
And like an
this
entry
special offer
board
is only valid
for
until
beginner
midnight
or
tonight. Simply scan the QR code
preparation for
that
a
appears during
full
this stream
Wavegliders,
or take a screenshot to scan it
board.
later.
Nice.
Don't worry,
Super
you will
nice.
see it pop
You
up
enjoying
again
it, by the way?
throughout the show.
Nice
And now
check.
let's go back to the
no.
podcast.
Easy talk for talking facts, talking about
Okay, we're back. We're back. And yeah, camera. You put the camera on Nico. Just doing like a way. Look at him, the big boss of area shaping surfboards here in the studio. Really excited. No, you can. Yeah, thanks, Idan. Yeah. So I have one last question. I meet a lot of people, and people sometimes ask me about surfboards, and I have no idea what to recommend. And honestly, I think it needs to come from someone like you, because surfing became such a huge thing now, and everyone is buying boards. And I see so many people. What I'm trying to say, so many people going on the wrong path of starting and not choosing actually the right vehicle for what they really need. So I think this could be
okay. It is a long issue. So last summer, a friend of mine wanted to give his girlfriend a gift. Wanted to give him a day at the beach surfing, first time. And usually I tell people that I'll have you surfing, riding a wave in 5 minutes. And people are like, that's impossible. Not with the right board. In 5 minutes, you'll be standing on a board. So we went to the beach. We have a really nice, pleasant morning. I got both surfing in 5 minutes. Of course, I had a massive 11-foot longboard that it would start on their knees and they
yeah.
on the rebuilds, and they eventually they were riding the wall of the wave in 5 minutes. Well, but that's like a school procedure. When you're ready on your own and you wanna your first board, there's no one board fits everything. It depends if you want to ride a long board, if you want to ride shorter boards. I would say that the longer path is the best path. If you go for a very short board, super refined, your learning curve would be way slower than if you take the long path and you get a bigger board, a more comfortable board. That means you're catching more waves, you're having more fun on each session. You don't come out of the water frustrated because you only paddle and got hammered by the waves. You got 10 rides to the shore. If that means a bigger, wider, thicker board, that's the right path to take. It depends a lot. It can be, and if you're starting, you should start with small waves. You shouldn't try to play the king of the hill and go straight to the nice waves and try catch them, because it's not going to happen. Everybody starts on the whitewash and build their way to the lineup. So it should be an easy, fun wave. You can catch board. We can catch a heck ton of waves and come out of the water with a big smile.
Hmm.
So I advise people to always have a chat with a shaper, and because the shaper will try to uh, conduct the person into the best water vehicle.
Hmm. That's cool. Another one I have the longboards priority. What's your take on that? Because if a longboarder sits on the peak, it takes a wave. I'm a longboarder, I know. It takes a wave and come back. And when he paddles, he passes all the short boarders. So basically he is not giving you understand my question. He doesn't give priority to the short boarders because he's not gonna sit now and wait.
Well, surfing is a family and a social event.
Yeah.
If you catch a wave, if you're a longboarder, if you're catching a lot of waves, well, give other people a chance to catch a wave. Chat with the girls. Say, hey, nice wetsuit. Where did you bought it? Oh, nice board. And let other people catch one or two waves. And when nobody's looking, paddle to your favorite place to sit. And that's the culture of surfing. For instance, in Hawaii, there's the uncles. You're never going to paddle on the uncle. The uncle will always have priority. He's an older guy. Doesn't matter. He's a local. You don't compete with waves for waves with the uncle. So let uncle catch waves. He's old. He doesn't have to. He shouldn't have to fight for waves. He's been surfing that way for way longer than before he showed up. So surfing as a social event, there's a lot of culture involved. So it's good for people to learn about surfing culture. Try to be polite in water. Try to be polite in life. If you're catching waves and having fun, lose your board, swim back in to grab your board, and give people time to catch waves while you're swimming back in to grab your board. And just make chit chat with the guy next to you, and talk boards in the water. Just be polite.
Miguel Padrera now. Now I'm realizing he's giving us some comments over there. Realizing maybe it's not connected, and we don't get all the comments from everyone on that window, and we missed a lot of comments here. So I see Miguel Padrera here, and we were talking about you before, and it was a good talk. And if I can summarize what you said, Nico, don't be an asshole, basically.
Don't be a dick in the water.
Don't be a dick in the water.
Don't
Absolutely.
be a dick in life.
Don't be a dick in life.
Just if you're catching waves, of course,
give some other person chances.
Give if some cook struggling with the paddling position, it's cool to say, hey, you're too far back or too far on the board. Just move a little bit backwards. Just move a little bit forward. And just be a nice guy, because universe will give back.
Well said, my friend. Nico, it was a pleasure having you here.
Pleasure was all mine to be here.
It was
Thank
really
you for
good fun
for
having you here. I feel really honored. And next time you do something like a movie night or something, I try to pop up just to say hello.
I'll let you know.
Let us know.
Because I really want to see the community together and spending good time.
And I'm already dreaming about my next space pin.
Oh yeah, that's
This
a
is-
beautiful board.
Thank you very much for everyone for watching and sharing this podcast with us. Thank you for Nico for being here. And it was really cool. The first time we do actually a live show. So we challenged ourselves to do this all technically corrected. We're going to throw out the sponsorship one last time, and then we'll be off. Thank you, everyone. Ciao. This live stream is brought to you by the Podcast Lab, a state-of-the-art
Really good one.
studio
Thank you
helping
very much.
content creators
Highly
take their
appreciate it.
craft to the next level.
Hey,
At the Podcast Lab, we offer instant raw edits, expert audio-visual support,
down.
professional
sure.
three-angle
Yeah.
camera system, acoustically treated space for up to
Yeah.
4 guests.
you,
One
guys.
of our
Obrigado.
most popular
Respeito.
offering is the 4-play package. A cost-effective
well, it
subscription
started
that
growing,
lets you record up to 4 podcast sessions in our studio. It's
people
perfect for
bringing,
creators who want consistent, high-quality
like
content
your
without breaking the bank. And here's the best part. For our live viewers today, you can get 25% off the 4-play package using the exclusive
my wife.
coupon code LIVE2025. But hurry, this special offer is only valid until midnight
It
tonight.
sucks, but
Simply scan the QR code that appears during these streams
Yeah.
or take a screenshot to scan it later. Don't worry, you will see it pop up again throughout
Next
the
time
show.
I'm gonna do with
Now
the,
let's go back to the
with the
podcast.
boys from the show. Wow.